Viewer discretion is advised.
The boy reached out his hand and touched his patient on his arm. The patient, a D-class, had a fresh, deep cut on his forearm, which resulted from a petty fight that turned ugly. "It's fine, just leave me be. It'll heal in no time." Wait, what is he doing? The wound on his arm was beginning to close on itself, restoring his ruined tattoo to its former glory. It then began to materialize on the boy's arm. He winced slightly as he endured the pain. When it was done, he merely looked at it as just another decoration on his body, one that he didn't need or want. Wow, this is miraculous! The assistant researcher patted on his head. "Good job, 590. You're a miracle worker, quite literally." The boy smiled a little, and then returned to the usual blank expressions as he began to self-medicate, as he always did after healing. A junior researcher, Dr. Adam Bright, rushed into the room. "Please, I need the help of my boy. It's an emergency." Annoyed, the assistant researcher glanced at him and then to the boy. "Well, get to it immediately then. You can treat it later." The boy stopped the bandaging, nodded his head, and followed Adam out of the room. "Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today we bring you a SCP Foundation Safe Class Object, SCP-590. SCP-590, also known as He Feels Your Pain, appears to be a young male, approximately 16 years old, although in all aspects a normal teenager. When 590 touches any other human, he heals all injuries and ailments, whether physical or mental ones they may have. As a side effect, 590 in return receives the injuries upon himself and is subjected to all the pain and the aftermath. He was named TJ Bright. To elucidate, when healing a physical wound, 590 not only feels the pain of receiving it, but also gains scars relevant to where the wound was on the subject it healed. Any mental healing performed by 590 is transferred directly, resulting in it gaining whatever mental aberration he was healing. However, miraculous its ability is, 590 is not capable of healing mental disorders caused by psionic induction, including those caused by certain mind-altering SCPs. The only apparent benefit he receives from his anomalous ability is apparent longevity, as he has not aged since his arrival at the Foundation. After 590 has received too many injuries, he can be administered SCP-500, the Panacea, a pill which taken orally will cure the subject of all diseases within 2 hours. It will return him to a state that is far less injured. However, it will not cure all the diseases and injuries he has accumulated over his lifetime, only the previous 2 hours. Mental illnesses he has accumulated do not heal as of the time of this writing. Further testing is needed to see if it will heal new mental afflictions. It is also noted by Foundation researchers that 590 did have a normal and highly functioning mind, but that changed when Dr. Bright got his hands on him. Dr. Bright convinced 590 to heal some people of their mental afflictions, and in turn had their illnesses transferred to him, leaving him with the mind of a 3-year-old child. Perhaps the most amazing feat 590 has accomplished was using his healing ability to bring back a stillborn, which would eventually be given a SCP designation SCP321. SCP-321 was originally a stillborn human female who was brought back to life due to the intervention of researcher Adam with his wife, medical assistant Evelyn. Adam used 590's ability on his daughter, who then became 321 and subsequently fell under the Foundation's custody. She is not able to talk, has stark white skin, possesses low intellect, and has a frail body due to having an artificial heart and braces to help support her movement. Perhaps due to 590's ability, 321 was gifted with regenerative capabilities and slowed aging. Her body will begin to decay and break down if the damage is constant and rapid, unable to regenerate to a scarred state like 590. However, once her artificial heart was inserted, she managed to heal to full health. During 321's time with the Foundation, she has maintained her low intellect and takes on average multiple years to learn even the most basic of skills. Yet speech still eludes her. Despite this, she can make vocalizations similar to what a very young child would make that serve as an indicator of her mood and what she wants or does not. 590 followed junior researcher Adam, making their way towards the Foundation emergency room. Adam explained the situation. "Me and your mother are having another baby. Well, you're getting a sister, but she came out less than ideal." Adam's pace quickened. He got annoyed at 590's being unable to keep up and his apparent lack of interest in his talk. "Oh, for goodness sake, will you please hurry up?" 590 quickened his steps, but still paces behind Adam. Soon they arrived at the labor room. The room was dead quiet, only the mother, Evelyn, cradling her baby daughter, with tears in her eyes, calling her name, "Sarah, Sarah, please work your magic." 590 slowly walked towards Evelyn and put his hands on the child. A magical glow emanated from his hands. When it subsided, the child's cheeks flushed pink, a sign of life. Soon enough, the most joyous sound filled up the room, a newborn's cry. "Oh, my sweet, sweet child. Look at her, Evelyn. Isn't she lovely?" He pushed past 590 and embraced Evelyn and his daughter. 590 looked at them and moved towards the exit. When he looked back, he saw the child was looking back at him. 590 let out a smile and walked out of the room. The child was then taken into Foundation custody for examination and given a SCP designation. Researcher Adam protested multiple times for his daughter to be removed from SCP status. "I request that SCP-321 to have her SCP status removed. She holds no threat towards the Foundation, nor society at large. Her abilities are not too powerful. She has the intellect of a young girl. What more can the Foundation gain in terms of knowledge from her?" Dr. Bright, you acted in accordance with your own will to initiate experiments on 321 without Foundation approval. Furthermore, its regenerative capabilities are not yet fully understood, and it appears it seems to possess a form of longevity we have only begun to investigate. Your request has been denied. Frankly, you are lucky you have not been reprimanded or terminated. She nearly died due to her regenerative and growth abilities. Since her condition has stabilized, I believe that it's now reasonable for her SCP status to be removed and moved to a medical setting to be with her family. She has proven to not be a threat in the slightest. And lastly, what more can be learned that we do not already know? 321's near-death experience was due to her own abilities, not by the negligence of the Foundation. Her condition has indeed been stabilized, and what's more, she has somehow been able to fully heal and maintain a reasonable size. I would venture that this is worth experimenting on and researching. Just as Adam was about to leave the room, one of the O5 members said to him, "You do good work for us, Adam, but it is inappropriate for a Foundation staff to grow attached to any SCPs. You would do well to keep that in mind." By this point, Adam has lost his patient. "Grow attached? Grow attached? She is my child, damn you!" Listen very carefully. Consider this your last warning. 321 is not, has never been, and will never be your daughter. It will either stay in the custody of the Foundation or to be released from it. That means termination. Is that clear? Adam clenched his fists and remained silent. Good. Glad we have an understanding. You may go. 590 would spend his downtime with 321 when she grew bigger. They were at her cell, doodling on papers when Adam called for 590. "TJ, some idiot got hurt again, so I'm afraid your little art lesson will have to be put on hold." The assistant researcher who was watching them corrected Adam regarding the proper nomenclature preferred by the Foundation. "Sir, with all due respect, this boy is not to be called by anything other than 590. He is a tool to be used, not someone's friend, sibling, or child. You listen carefully. That there is my boy, my son. I am free to call him whatever I damn well please, and you will do nothing about it. Got it?" As 590 stood up, he saw 321 has got a paper cut on her finger. She started to cry. 590 patted her head and took her injured hand into his. There, I'll make it go away." The cut slowly closed up and stopped bleeding, and 321 smiled. but got saddened again when she saw blood slowly seeping through 590's bandaged finger. "It's okay, it's no biggie. I'll be back, sister, and we'll play again." He patted 321 again and rose. He smiled and turned towards Adam. "Coming, father." In a long-range surprise attack by robotic mortar, 2241 became enraged and caught a mortar bomb before throwing it back to the launcher at approximately 1.4 times the speed of sound. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today we bring you SCP Foundation Euclid Class Object SCP-2241. SCP-2241, also known as Cameron the Crusader, is a 7-year-old, brown-haired boy who possesses minor telekinetic abilities. Additionally, he is also showing signs of a latent reality-bending ability. 2241 is to be kept in a standard humanoid containment cell, so that the SCP Foundation can learn to understand his powers and use them to develop more superheroes. To be specific, 2241 is able to manipulate objects he can see and those that are within approximately 6 meters of him. In addition to this, manipulated objects may teleport or become slightly altered, implying a more general reality-bending ability. To the Foundation, 2241 is considered a good candidate for long-term or intensive research into telekinesis, reality-bending specifically, and anomalous humanoids generally. In his containment cell, 2241 is to be allowed access to television and comic books, but may be denied access to said items as punishment if required. As his cooperation is considered essential to long-term containment, personnel are to call 2241 by his given name, Cameron. Currently, the leading theory among Foundation researchers is that 2241 will develop stronger or additional anomalous abilities as he ages. As such, it is considered essential to long-term containment and research that 2241 believes he is working with the Foundation and that the Foundation is a safe place for him. Below is a video log documenting the events while researcher Valdez was trying to gain 2241's trust. "Cameron, can you tell me what was happening when the fire team found you?" "Fire team? You mean the soldier guys?" "That's right. I was trying to help that lady." "Why were you helping her?" "She looked scared. The bad guy had a gun. She was trying to run away. Someone had to help her." "But why did you have to help her? Why not run and call the police?" "Superheroes have to help people. I can move things without touching them, and other people can't, so I should use that to help them." "That's very good of you, Cameron. Have you helped anyone else like this?" "No, I've only ever practiced, like in the woods and stuff." "Has anyone ever caught you practicing?" "I don't think so. I tried to keep it secret, but sometimes people go for walks in the woods and they might have seen me, but I don't think so." "Okay, that's good. What kinds of things can you do?" "I can move stuff without touching it, but not if it's too far away or if it's too big. Only like a cup across a room or a person's arm or something. Sometimes it can kind of change as well." "What do you mean by change, Cameron?" "Sometimes when I'm moving something, it changes into something I want. Like one time when I was moving a stone, it turned into a toy that I lost. But it changed back after a while before I even got home." "Have you ever changed something on purpose?" "Not really. Sometimes when I hear my parents yelling, I wish they'd stop and get distracted for a little bit, but they usually go back to arguing." "Do your parents fight often?" "No, not really. They don't mean to be angry." "Do they ever get angry at you?" "Sometimes. Daddy says it's my fault. I should just try harder. Mommy gets mad when my room is messy, but I try to keep it clean. I don't want her to be mad." "It's okay, Cameron. You're okay here." Thank you. You know, ordinary people wouldn't understand these powers, and some other people with powers might try to hurt you. Yeah, heroes have to have a secret identity." "Did you have a superhero name to protect your identity?" "I'm Cameron the Crusader." "That's a cool name, Cameron. Because of this danger, you're going to be staying here with the SCP Foundation for a while. Do you have any questions?" "What does SCP mean, mister?" "It means secure, contain, protect." "So it fights bad guys, like S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers?" That's right, Cameron, like the Avengers. 2241 appears to trust researcher Valdez and believes that the Foundation is attempting to help him as much as possible. 2241 may have experienced abuse at the hands of his parents, leading to the possibility of developing into a full-scale reality bender. Following several recent rounds of O5-approved rapid-fire testing with innocent bystanders and 2241's personal belongings, 2241 has developed many further abilities consistent with reports of late-stage telekinetic reality benders. 2241 can now consistently teleport itself along with other matter. Additionally, it can act upon information received from several seconds in the future and move or transform matter within 12 meters without directly viewing it. Hitherto unrecorded abilities such as self-duplication are also present. In a test, 2241 appeared to absorb the energy of a bomb at the time of detonation. This mechanism is not well understood, but is believed to be a transformation of kinetic energy to some form of equivalent potential energy. Furthermore, the Foundation had also discovered a bomb within 2241's personal belongings. After the discovery, 2241 became enraged and teleported the bomb a great distance into the sky before it detonated. He took some time to calm down, repeatedly exclaiming, "No one can take my things. It's not fair. I'm strong. I'm the Crusader." One time, 2241 was found stealing a box from the Foundation-modified bank vault. 2241 managed to teleport in, take the box, and slow down the Foundation sensors after tripping them before they could transmit a motion detection. This was only discovered upon later analysis. For this clear violation of causality, 2241 expressed no concern about his activities of dubious morality, a clear change from the day he spoke with researcher Valdez. In a long-range surprise attack by robotic mortar, 2241 became enraged and caught a mortar bomb before throwing it back to the launcher at approximately 1.4 times the speed of sound. 2241 is clearly less precise in his abilities and more violent when angry. "I hate them. I'm a Foundation Avenger and I hate the bad guys, and I'm gonna fight them all." In another test, 2 civilians were held hostage in rooms connected with a bulletproof glass window by enemies with guns. 2241 was informed of these impenetrable windows and that the hostages could not be teleported without physical contact. To rescue the 2 hostages, he duplicated himself and teleported both hostages to the Foundation command post simultaneously before returning to capture both enemies. 2241 reported nausea afterward, but no other ill effects. For the final test, researcher Valdez wished to implant a monitoring chip into 2241 in order to control his abilities and manipulate him into helping the Foundation. However, the Ethics Committee and a few O5 councils disagreed with the action. Implanting a monitoring chip into a child this young cannot be done without significant developmental damage in later years. This will cause catastrophic problems for both the child and long-term containment, given his well-developed capabilities. Additionally, deploying a child in combat, even under testing conditions, violates all moral norms. These tests are more important than one SCP regardless of whether it looks like a child. We now know which parts of the brain deal with certain anomalous abilities. With more detail, we can see how. We may even learn how to induce these abilities, and we will definitely learn how to neutralize them. I believe the results will justify both the risks and the means. We are closer than ever to understanding the mechanism by which human brains interact with extra-normal phenomena. In addition, due to the new modification of the monitoring hardware, 2241 can be neutralized quickly should it become a threat at any time after the surgery. Testing reinstated by majority overseer vote following emergency council meeting. Researcher Valdez exonerated. Testing will go ahead, assuming no complications. The boy was laying in my bed, barely clinging on to life one night. He could feel death beginning to gnaw at his soul. A short and round-looking man with a huge beard, wearing some sort of tunic, entered the room. He smiled at the boy as he stood next to the bed. Panicked, the boy tried to turn away but ended up coughing violently instead. He looked down at him with pity and sadness in his eyes before asking permission if he'd like his help. The boy felt a sudden sense of ease and slowly calmed down. He nodded his head and the man got to work immediately. He placed his hands an inch or two above the boy's chest and closed his eyes. Seconds later, his hands glowed a soft blue as a pleasant warmth began welling up in the boy's chest. This sensation then worked its way through his body, and slowly but surely he could feel strength returning to him. The boy asked what he was doing in amazement, but the man grunted out in a gruff voice as he began to sweat from exertion. His hands were shaking now. The boy could tell that the man was straining himself for his sake. Regardless, he pressed on and did not stop until he knew for sure that the boy was cured of his illness. After finishing, he sharply exhaled and collapsed into a nearby chair for guests. By Horus, I think I nearly fainted. But never mind that. How do you feel, child? He asked, smiling brightly. The boy responded that he felt fantastic. The man took a deep breath, stood up, and began to walk away. The boy called after him and asked who he was. Me? I'm the best, kid. Get it? He said and chuckled to himself. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today we bring you SCP Foundation Safe Class Object SCP-208. SCP-208, also known as Bess, resembles an Egyptian human male with a long beard and a short stature. His body is incredibly hairy. He wears an Egyptian tunic from the Old Kingdom era and sometimes more modern military fatigues. Despite his odd humanoid appearance, 208 is actually thought to be the Egyptian deity Bess. Researchers believe this to be true as he prefers to be called Bess over 208 and responds happily to it. When asked if he is in fact a god, he smiles mysteriously and says, I am who you say I am. Ha, I knew a guy who used to say that. Nice fellow. Other than his supposed godhood, Bess does possess an array of anomalous abilities. First and foremost is his ability to induce rapid cellular regeneration and reconfiguration by focusing a type of electromagnetic radiation to radiate from his hands. This requires intense concentration. His body naturally radiates this type of healing radiation, but his hands are able to channel it more precisely. Second, simply by being near Bess, individuals remark that they feel safe, at ease, and happy, which makes him quite popular among the staff. However, when he is around those who harbors despicable and evil intentions, they become distraught and incredibly afraid. This is in line with the mythological god Bess, as he was designated as a defender against evil. Specifically, Bess is a protector of women and children. Despite his appearance, he is incredibly friendly to everyone he meets. Therefore, Bess has been granted free roam in Site-17. He is generally seen helping in the medical wing and caring for children should any fall under Foundation custody. The only thing to inspire aggressive behavior from 208 has been snakes, for which he has expressed deep hatred. 208 was found buried near the Nile River in Egypt, completely encased in granite except for one of his feet. Foundation personnel were able to successfully crack him out of the rock and thought at first he was a perfectly mummified corpse. That was until he started speaking. Oh dear! Hello all. How long was I out? Bess asked the stunned researchers who quickly called for security. Easy now, guys. I don't mean anyone harm. I'll comply. Name's Bess, by the way. Pardon my rude entrance. He then guffawed and slapped his rotund belly. Bess was escorted to the director of Site-17, and after a period of testing and good behavior, Bess was allowed to roam Site-17 freely. A series of testing was done with Bess against SCP-500, or the Panacea. Researchers wanted to test his effectiveness versus that of the Panacea. After 3 separate tests, it was determined that SCP-500 heals and cures much faster and effectively compared to Bess. When he found out about the results, Bess scoffed. He said that those pills can cure you, but they aren't much for conversation. After some time in Foundation custody, some researchers wanted to test Bess's ability to ward off non-humanoid entities, specifically SCP-682. When Bess was told of 682's dangerous and violent nature, he shrugged and said he wasn't worried. After being told of the horrid things 682 has done, Bess reassured the researchers that he would be fine. Bess was brought to the containment unit for 682. The moment he stepped inside, 682 immediately hissed and roared. Bess chuckled. "What a loud one you are!" Bess bellowed and 682 charged towards him. Bess extended his hand and allowed his blue electromagnetic healing waves to pulse from it. 682 stopped in its tracks and retreated, shrieking in terror as Bess walked towards it. "I've seen horrific entities more powerful than you before the creation of this universe. I am no great warrior, nor am I the strongest amongst the pantheon of gods. But you are nothing but a worm compared to me. Now if I catch any whiff of you hurting anyone in this facility, I will hunt you down. You know why? Because I hate reptiles." Bess spat towards 682 and then left without incident. 682 was incredibly docile until Bess left the site. The site director asked Bess if he was actually capable of killing 682. Bess shook his head. He explained that while he could subdue it for a long time, he'd die in the process, and 682 would return eventually. Bess is incredibly popular with any and all children who come into Foundation custody, and often are given to Bess for care. Most of these children are either severely wounded, ill, or traumatized. But thanks to Bess's aura and happy-go-lucky attitude, all of them are healed and entertained by Bess. He tells them stories from his youth, terrible jokes that everyone but the kids roll their eyes at, and tells them that no matter what it was that happened to them, Uncle Bess would be there to make things all better. In a conversation between Dr. Richards and Bess, Bess expressed his joy ever since coming into Foundation custody. "It feels good to be useful. I get to actually be a doctor again." They watched the kids play tag. Dr. Richards nodded and then, after hesitating, bluntly asked if Bess was more powerful than he was letting on. "Ah, no beating around the bush with you, huh? Well, I'm more bark than bite, really, but I can still give some of my foes a run for their money if I really try." His face became somber as he turned to Dr. Richards. "I'm old, Doctor. I no longer have what it takes to be a hero. Still, I'd do anything for mankind, especially the children. They don't deserve to be hurt by anyone. What if the Foundation asks you to fight the anomalies? I'm afraid the higher-ups will want every possible help they can get. That's the kind of organization this is. Then I shall fight and smile as I do so, because I'd die protecting them," he said, pointing at the kids they watched together. "You're something else, Bess." "I know, 'cause I'm the best." "Oh, whatever," Dr. Richards said, trying not to reveal his grin. Bess used his hidden magical ability to cause a plethora of candy to manifest out of thin air and shouted towards the kids. They ran over to him and cheered. "Take all you want, kids. You've earned it." We hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to click like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Have a favorite SCP you want to see on this channel? Leave us your suggestions in the comments down below. In the meantime, if you'd like to see more SCP content, then check out some of our other videos right here. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye-bye.